bya geoscience mu Uganda.
Geoscience ibyo gukora cy'itaka
yo mu itaka byo mu itaka by'amizi yo hangwa ka environment n'ibindi nk'ibyo iby'amashita petroleum n'ibindi nk'ibyo. So tuyine kikombe kibakwita geological site of Uganda azanye gucukurira mu Uganda.
Okay. Twakwakira ogwe tuzakuba tumwina hano ya kandi banohora iby'amataka ibya minerozi iby'ubugiga bw'itaka cyacha mayisango turi KASESE niyo shonga bwachi turi KASESE ari ibintu nyamwiji kwatagendena na ibya minerozi ningashi iby'ubugiga bw'itaka. Let me welcome my friend Mr. Bwambale Crispus Honorable. Say hi to our viewers.
Thank you so much. Amena nomulenge ninje Bwambale Crispus Mavinye kandi ninje district councillor representing eminyetu eyobulumi. Ninye councillor w'eminyeto waku representinga abana b'obushija abari below 30 years. So now tobachira mununga.
Okay. Yebare honorable gwena zwechara eminyeto ya KASESE aha district. Hagati nyineho Mr. Bohaka Lucas. Say hi to our people.
Yeah, thank you my brother. Yeah, Nabanyata Bohaka Lucas Bwambale. Bwambale is the second born in the Bakonjo culture. Mutakuwa Rome Caesar. Konka, apart from that, I am first of all the voice of the voiceless in the KASESE district. And everybody is aware of that. But also too, apparently for the benefit of this talk show, Ninyowe chairperson Health Management Committee or board of Rukoki Health Center 4, which is presumed to be the hospital of this district, in addition to Wera.
Yes.
But also 3, I'm one of the leaders in the municipal council because I head and I'm the opinion leader on the MDF forum. That forum is called the Municipal Development Forum or City Development Forums. Yeah. There are only 2 in the country. You can be the City Forum or this forum. And I'm the one only who's appointed with the mayor in the municipality for the Development Forum. But also lastly, I have more other parastatal and statutory committees of the district that I head. KASESE Youth Polytechnic that President Museveni puts in KASESE, I'm a board member representing Nyamamba division. In Gwera Secondary School, I'm a member of the executive committee that plans for Gwera Secondary School on behalf of the community called KASESE Gwera Secondary School. And very many others. Much obliged.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bohaka Lucas Bwambale. We are live from Zebra Hotel, and we are Omurembo wa KASESE. No hotwa tukora program iteji Omushana Gwebyoubutegyeki. Akokuna gambira ho mabutwa tutandika ngo program yitsa agenda tukhana hansa endimi zitakushana akwenda ngo buryo umwe ahora abo kurebera hona ove no twata kuronje. Noza kutufundira aha Star Times channel bila na mwenda Go TV channel namba 888 free to air Yo TV hamwena na GNTV Uganda aha YouTube to live and clear. Kweshonga itukuza kugahaja ho izoba ya Nyakazoba. Abantu ba KASESE bene irwaro erukumanywa ka Chirembe Mines Hospital umuntu ari kwa heru akubana izobora KASESE atakira Chirembe Mines Johnny Shonga nkuru kandi yo focal point y'abanyarwanda abakwije hano ya mu Kasese kurambura abo kuba twatwenda kumanya ibyo bwiga babihankahi nitwe tujyango katiki bwana hari irwaro eri kumanywa ka Kirembe Mines Hospital iri ni irwaro eri kushangwa omu Kirembe quarters irwaro rero rikaba riri y'abantu abatandikiwe Kirembe Mines history mbazaje tuherezaje okuba tinagikwata kunchonka iza kushaka umukuru wanje atwase ko nagitereza kurunji kunkandi ni pako kace kwenda ngo manye kitonto ganjana Kirembe Mines ishayirwa rere rikatandikwaho abantu batandikira ko Kirembe Mines ko barjiremo baza haza mu government government ya taking over yatandika kwereza abantu abo kuba ahita urugambira shaheza irwaro rya Kirembe Mines it serves a population of more than 500,000 people that benefit from that hospital so enshonga ekiza ho bwanyimaho bwanyima yerwaro rero kutwarwa umugera gwa Nyamwamba omujara gwa Nyamwamba ukabasa kubona gutera irwaro rero ya gwarteka hasi kandi aho government no yazengwa kasente kitwa takafera busha let us go and withdraw we discharge everything from the hospital turekera abantu ningashi turuhindure turuteke umwanya ukundi echo kikateganisa abantu ko kunagambira a total number of 500,000 people were disturbed and bakora umurimo barakurabira mu area MP wabo yatwara ikiteguso mu ishengero ryito rya Uganda uko yabaye izoba rya Nyakazoba akacika kakushitama aha Parliamentary Committee of Hearers kabasa kanka siba hano ya mu district ya Kasese karigamba hanshongezo eshongezi kagamba kajirango tikirungi akushanga irward living supporting abantu bakurenga imitwaro 50 kandi bari yeho baratwara umwanya gundi ogurahari eshongezi ndi zaziruhwaho bakugirango tokamanya abari enyuma y'ikitweje basakwe bari Gwebyoubutegyeki ningashi hineshonga abwakimbe ndabahindurwa rero egyagiraho myaka yakare kandi bateke omyaka yahadi on that note rekanya chire mukuru wa Tampara abase atugambire brief history about Kirembe Mines Hospital then nabwanyuma ntsa kureba enshonga bwaci ibenda kurihindura bwaci abantu batakwenda ngo barihindure Mr. Tampara
bari munonga nimbasabwa mu mujungu n'urunyakore
yes
Kirembe Mines Hospital was established in the year 1954 as a small clinic. Then in 1956 it was a full-fledged hospital. It was mainly for the workers. Between 1956 and 62, Kirembe had a workforce of about 6,000 workers. And this continued until 1977 when production went down. So the hospital was basically treating the workers, their families, and also the surrounding community. During those years, the surrounding community was really small, but eventually with time, because most of the land was covered by Kirembe Mines, and then we did not have a national park by then, the Rwenzori Mountains National Park. So the population was living a little bit far in the mountains, apart from the mine workers who were living with close relatives and others within the camp, the mining camps. So Kirembe Mines Hospital, Kirembe Mines Limited, was taken over was bought by government of Uganda in 1975. So In 1975, government of Uganda owned Kilembe mines, all the shares, except 0.004 that belonged to the estate of Rukidi, 4 of Toro, Rukidi 3 of Toro. This did not belong to the kingdom of Toro. It belonged to the estate of Rukidi.
Of the Omukam of Toro.
As a person, no, not
As a person.
As a person.
Okay.
It belonged to his estate, not the kingdom.
Personal.
Yes. So, Kilembe Mines ceased active operations in 1982, basically. But by 1978, there was no production, except they were working on what they had mined earlier and what was already nearby mine.
Yeah.
But now, the population around Kilembe Mines was now increasing. People were producing, and then Kilembe Mines, when it ceased operations, it started laying out workers, laying off workers. We got the Tanzanian War, and it affected a lot of work until 1979.
Yes.
Some people ran away, others stayed around. Then Kilembe Mines used to employ a number of people from different countries, East and Central Southern Africa. We had all types of tribes. For us, me, I happen to have been born in Kilembe.
Okay.
Because my father came here in 1956. So, and I was born in Kilembe Mines Hospital. I want all the time bring the relevance of Kilembe Mines Hospital. And all my siblings, my father's firstborn was born in 1960, and the rest, all of us were born in Kilembe Mines Hospital. And then Kilembe Mines, when the work ceased in 1982, production was no more. Then we had in Obote 2 now. And then the government of Uganda tried on several occasions to bring in new investors to do feasibility studies to know whether this mine can continue working. But by then, unfortunately, the prices of copper and cobalt were too low. So there was no formidable company that would come to take in the reserves that we had in Kilembe, which were estimated at 4.12 million tons. Then in 1980s, between 82 and 85, everybody knows we had a war. When the NRA crossed to the Rwenzori Mountains, they liberated areas of western Uganda. And KASESE was actually liberated in 1985, not 86 in Kampala and other areas. So the base was here in KASESE, first in Nyachugumba, then it came here in KASESE, remained already in Nyachugumba, then there was a base here, and all the celebrations were being done at the golf club here. So Kilembe Mines Hospital became a hub of actually treating even the NRA soldiers. And now the mine, the workforce had reduced, but the people were entirely depending on the Kilembe Mines Hospital. So when we were cut off in 1985, there were no drugs coming from the center, because we were cut off. We were a different government. NRA had its own ministers, we had the radio, and we were even controlling the airfield here.
Yeah, true.
So there was a sister, a nun called Sister Malice. She actually died. May her soul rest in peace. She's one of the greatest heroes that I know we can never forget.
Sister Maris.
Yes, in regard to Kilembe Mines Hospital.
Yeah.
She started actually organizing drugs, medicines, for Clean Minds Hospital personally, using her family back in Germany and France. So they started bringing us drugs. Because we had no drugs
from the government.
Because we were now a different government.
A different government.
Yes.
In Uganda.
Yes, in Uganda. We were cut off. And then these drugs, some of them would come through one Tigadi. And then they come through Kavale, or they fly them to the airfield here. So we got drugs from Sister Maris. And then she was so kind that she felt this hospital should continue because the people were many, and then we had so many wounded soldiers and other sick people. And the mine, there were no salaries, and so the Clean Minds really couldn't run that hospital. So when there was a takeover after 1986, still the government was still young, and still they couldn't really have all these drugs. So eventually they formalized the Catholic diocese to partner with government. Now, in this case, again, when I get back to how Clean Minds operated at that time, the 0.004 I talked about of the Rokede estate was actually dormant at that time because Clean was not working. They were passing. But then they were shareholders, they remained there. But the government operated like 100% because it was 99.996%. So they operated like 100%. Yes. So Clean Minds was entirely run by government. We started now paying salaries after the takeover in some areas. Then we had the currency reform, etc., all these things. But then when they formalized, when we had, in the early 90s, around 93, government said, Clean Minds, you have so many workers. We cannot manage yet, you are not producing. So can you, there was a deliberate action taken by government to retrench workers, not only Clean Minds, but also in the government institutions. So people were retrenched. And those who were retrenched and retired, of course, first was age, then how active are you, your health, your productivity. So many people left, including workers in Clean Minds Hospital. Those workers entirely belong to Clean Minds, the hospital staff. So when the Catholic diocese came in, they appointed the first administrator of Clean Minds Hospital, was called Kabagambe Noah. He was a senior clinic officer, and that was the first administrator appointed by the Catholic authority, and who was now basically answerable to them, and also Clean Minds. So basically, there were two partners running Clean at that time, but though it was not united. So when there came in the system of decentralization, the central government brought its powers down to the center, to the local people. So government said, for us we shall stay as government, we shall provide you salaries for the workers, etc. Clean Minds as an entity, though it's owned by government, shall provide you the infrastructure, because they had the infrastructure, they had the beds, they had the mattresses, they had the x-rays, they were still working, the theater, because things were operating, though old, but they were operating. Yes. So that's when they formalized the tripartite agreement between now government providing the staff and salaries and drugs somewhere, the Catholics providing the administration, drugs, and also some treatment. Climate Mines providing the infrastructure and the attendant facilities that were there. So that's how the tripartite agreement came in.
Yeah.
And then things started moving that way. And indeed the hospital continued running perfectly to the best of what we expected. So that is the brief history up to when the floods came in. When the floods came in, they really destroyed part of the hospital.
The first floods or the second?
The first ones were not so devastating like the second ones. Actually, the second one found even my mom in the hospital, admitted there. She survived.
Oh.
The water found her in the ward, and she was rescued. And I couldn't cross because the mom had cut off the other side. So I was, until well-wishers helped me, the doctors did a great job to rescue my mom. I was seeing all these things happen. I saw how the hospital was being taken with this. So, when the hospital got devastated and the Catholic diocese said, well, under the Bishop Kibera, we thank him to really relocate them to the nursery school they had proposed as an emergency measure. That was great for us. And I think they did a good job. Until when the tripartite MOU agreement collapsed. So, to me, when the Catholic Diocese decided to build its own hospital, and then they said they were no longer interested, and the community was really the urge of having this hospital. There was no doubt that Climate Mines Hospital has to be back to where it is right now. I remember one of the people who proposed that it should be where it is now. Because I've done a research on River Nyamamba and the assessment, and we said, well, we can actually have this hospital here. Since Climate Mines has also given us land, 4-something acres, and eventually we can build our own hospital that is free from floods. And we had even a team of the Department of Geological Surveys and Mines, who I think were around 16, who carried out the survey and geological assessments, and we felt our recommendation was that the ground was suitable for the hospital. So, for me, I believe the hospital now is not targeting the mine workers.
It is targeting the community.
Yes. And even now that Kilembe is under privatization, yes, a hospital will be required, or is a required thing. But the ordinary person needs treatment now that the population has increased, now that we have hard-to-reach areas that do not have health centers which are upgraded. Having a hospital at Rukoki 4 or upgrading Rukoki 4, I am one of the proponents for having a hospital at Rukoki 4. For your information, I was the speaker of KASESE municipality for 10 years. I was the first and second speaker.
First, second in the municipality?
Yes. And I was the national chairman of all the urban speakers in Uganda until last year when I gave up. No, actually, early last year. While we were proposing that we should have Rukoki as a health center, as a hospital, we did not say that we want Climate Mines to collapse. Climate Mines Hospital. Our aim was to have as many
as you can.
medical centers as we can, given the fact that the catchment area of this hospital was quite big, always big, and even the population of KASESE alone is more than 1.something million. So, and we are getting patients from Kamwenge, Footwater, everywhere. So, and given the historical background I have,
yes,
and in view of the population that we have around the area, and the nature of hard-to-reach area, and the limited facilities that we have today, Kilembe Mines Hospital should be reactivated in terms of funding from the center.
So what could have brought the problem of being deactivated from the system?
Well, I do not have reasons, but one of the reasons is that the tripartite agreement collapsed. As soon as the Catholic Diocese pulled out, the agreement collapsed. And probably the center had now no basis of continuing with the system that is not regulated with an agreement. That notwithstanding, they should have first consulted the people. In fact, now the consultation is coming at the end. They should have done this consultation earlier. Yes, so that the people can know the government's the step the government is taking is temporary while they are streamlining something. Because we can have probably it is not a must that has to be a tripartite agreement. It can be bilateral. It can be Kilembe Mines, which is part of government, and the government of Uganda. Now that the Catholic Diocese has pulled out. Why the Catholic Diocese was relevant at that time was that there were no drugs. We were in a war situation, and with the center
they wanted to help the government.
Yes, they were helping. But now the government has the drugs. The government is paying the doctors and the nurses, and the buildings and Kilembe Mines, which is part of government. So there is no problem that we can say, okay, elements of health and Kilembe Mines for the sake of the people, and for the sake of preparing that this mine is under privatization. And by the time the investor comes in, we should find something in place to build on.
Thank you so much. This is Mr. Kwatampora Alex, who is a senior geologist. Yarona kubaha shonga skwatagina ikirwando ya Kilembe Mines Hospital and shonga zazinji munonga nkokuwa sakona uhurra ezonzo shonga kanjembe wa Councillor Honorable Gwambare Crispus. According to your view as a leader of this community, where do you think the problem comes from, and what do you think is the future of Kilembe Mines Hospital?
I think I should speak Lukonzo.
In a language.
Okay. Hati, I want to thank my brother here, Mr. Kwatampora Alex, very much experienced in the issues of Kilembe Mines, and he's well versed with them. Konka nienda kumubuza kibuzo kimwe. I want him to tell us what percentage the government of Uganda has in Kilembe Mines
right now.
No, I think he will not. The government of Uganda, the percentage it has in Kilembe Mines Hospital, the Catholic Church, the percentage it has, and now the Kilembe copper minery that it has in Kilembe Mines, because he's explaining very, very well. And the way he began, that means each an entity has a hand somewhere, somehow. That is my question number one. Number two, we have got several floods after Kalembe mines not in operation. The government has spent a lot of money trying to rehabilitate Kalembe Mines Hospital. As a senior geologist, I want him to give us his advice.
Yeah, I think you'll give us the advice later.
Not you told me to speak.
Okay.
Number three, to me, there is a lot of money, Honorable Kotapora, that is being spent. For example, distilling the river, planting.
Desilting.
Yes, desilting. Yes, thank you. Desilting the river, planting trees that will control the river banks. I am told it is 37 billions. Whereby we can harmonize maybe the government. Fine, we need all that money since it has come to KASESE. You, as senior geologists, I guess they always consult you maybe. For all they don't, but I guess you can advise that, okay, you have brought this money, this one should go here, this one should go here. But remember, this river, me in my generation, I have witnessed it twice disturbing us. That was 2013 and 2018. Is it 18? Yeah. 18. And the government spent a lot of money rehabilitating the hospital. Now, to me, I was begging, does government engage you, private partners, or if at all you're part of government, that do you also advise that this is where we should go? Because 37 billions coming to something that you know that maybe it will be washed away within a day, or do you just welcome it and it's okay, let us do the work, then tomorrow we again write proposals? So to me, those are my three questions. Number one, let me repeat them.
No, I have noted them.
Okay, so those are my three questions.
Thank you, Honorable Mavunya.
It's okay, I'll give you time. He's answering in his time.
Kalembe Mines Hospital, Kalembe Mines Limited, you're asking about the percentages. I think I mentioned them earlier. Government owns Kalembe Mines 99.96%. I think that's clear.
99.96%.
Actually, 64.
The 0.004%.
So, on the issue of the floods, I have written, I did a research on the floods and I wrote a number of papers, even on the internet. Actually, when they were budgeting for this flood control, there was funding from World Bank and they actually quoted, they cited some of my issues I raised in my paper. I would like to give you the historical background of the floods. In 1954, when Kalembe Mines opened up the first shaft, actually the first target, they were on the higher ground, and then the river was really flooding all over the area of Kalembe. They changed the course of the river to create more land for infrastructure development, because now they had discovered more copper deposits here. The course of the river was diverted from an area called Chanjuki near an area called Magazine. I don't know if you guys know where the magazine is. There's an explosive magazine. That's why they diverted the river. And they wanted to create a water supply and also to push this water, because that water used to come all the way, as you see the road from Chanjuki immediately after the township. Along the road, that was its course. So they diverted the river, created a market, they backfilled that area, created a market, put an office, put a social center called the Nyamamba Club, had the water supply, and then this water came down, and then they created another space for Blended School, and then the switch house, and they went, diverting the course like that up to down. But initially, the course of the river was right away from that Chanjuki point up to Road Barrier. That's what it used to be. But they were so intelligent and they were good guys that they knew the hot spots. They built what we call retention walls, flood control retention walls. They built them in concrete, put gabions down so that they could control the wrath of that river right away into those hot spots. Then they carried out a periodic sealed all the rivers, river channel. And when did they do that? Like now during the dry season, there was a bulldozer, there were excavators, there were miners who would come and drill big boulders and blast them, and then they would clear the channel of the water. And then some of these rocks were disposed around Katiri, if you go to Chanjuki and others in Blembia, like that. So the river channel would be wide enough to accommodate the water that would come all the way from the mountains. Now, to the best of my knowledge, I last saw that exercise being done in 1982. 1982. I was in B6 at Blended School. Not Blended Primary School. Our school was called Blended School.
1982.
So from 1982, they did not desilt the river because now things had started collapsing. As I told you, if you can remember my historical information, that by 1982 there was no product, and now the workforce was a bit redundant, maintenance was a problem in the mines. So from 1982 to 2013, there was no desilting and maintenance of River Nyamamba. So it's not that the water was too much from the mountains. No, it's that the river channel was clogged with boulders and etc. By 2013. So when the river came, of course, with other factors in the mountains, we know the historical background of the floods, the causes, etc. For your information, you can go and read causes of River Nyamamba floods. It is on the internet, incorporated by me. So the river now started, and then these retention walls, which were being periodically maintained by the Civil Engineering Department of Climate, and now that it was non-existent, they started aging, and water started etching down, and eventually the walls gave way. It was so sad for me to see Blended School being washed away, and actually even the first pictures we saw on TV in 2013 were taken by me.
Oh.
Yes, those videos were taken by me because I was just across and my tears were falling. Because I saw one of the beautiful classes we used to have, the P5 and P5 block being washed away and only one wall remaining. I was really sick. So the bridges were taken and others, but it was lack of maintenance because now Kilembe had no money and government did not provide for anything to that effect. My advice, before I give the advice, these floods have had catastrophic effects to the people of KASESE, to our assets as Uganda, because they've washed away tailing dams that contain cobalt. Those tailing dams contained 5.5 million tons of cobalt, and one of the biggest tailings dams that contained 3.6 million has been almost halfway washed out. I believe we could have lost more than 1.5 million tons of cobalt, and that's quite a lot of money. And the attendant effects, we've done surveys, we've seen the effects of these floods. 51% of the water down is contaminated. We've seen 40% of water being taken in the houses around the area being contaminated. We've seen 20% of the forts and others. We've done all this research. And it's not something that we should really be shy to talk about, because it is an issue. My advice, the first time they were rebuilding the Chanduki Bridge, I am also a geotechnical engineer actually. I advised the contractor, and because I was not a government consultant, but I was the project manager. And I told the contractor that this bridge on the other embankment, it is seated just on a big boulder. Should Nyamamba gets annoyed next time and this boulder is taken, this bridge will go. We spent more than 400 on the bridge. We built a very nice bridge, the Chanduki Bridge, and when the next flood, it was taken. So sometimes people don't take our advice, Mr. Manu. I actually advised them that they should elongate the bridge so that it sits on a better embankment, on the left embankment and the right embankment. But they said that is not part of the budget. I said, but instead of boulder, the water will just come and sweep. And indeed it did. So right now there is some good work being done. But before that again, when they were building the Gabion Wall all the way to the hospital before the floods came back, we asked them that please start this Gabion Wall right away from the Katiri Bridge embankment, because that's where the water comes, and we have it historically that in 1966 on 17th April the water passed there. We have it that in 1969 on 5th May the water passed there. We have it that in 1976 it tried, but they controlled it. And all these things, we have the historical background. So apparently he asked again about government money, 37 billion. I don't know how much money government has put. But I know it is the Ministry of Water and Environment spearheading this. We did have some consultative meetings with them and advised to our best. But if there is no periodic desilting on that river channel, given that they have built up, seen some of those gabions they built, they might not sustain the floods in the future. Because to me, the river channel is still narrow. And it could be because of the design or the money, but some places which I know that are turbulent, those river channels are still narrow. and we might have floods
Next time.
Lastly, if we have periodic desilting and maintenance of the river banks, we can have a very strong wall. It will be expensive, but it can be there, that can protect Clement Hospital. Part of it we might demolish it, part of the Clement Hospital, because the nurses' quarters were taken in 1966, but they were rebuilt. And they were taken again in 2013.
Yeah.
But from 1966 they were taken.
So history was there.
Yes, there was. It is not something new, and I'm sure most people don't know this. But the nursing quarters, right out from the police station, all that was washed away in 1966, and it was rebuilt. They rebuilt it again in the same place, but maintained the river channel, and it was there until, you can imagine, from 1982 to 2013. How many years are those?
Those are 31 years.
So there was nothing really done. Probably these floods would have never had this catastrophic effect.
Okay.
So I believe that as we put this money, as we build these protection walls and what we need, regular maintenance, periodic maintenance of the river channels, and we can still, if these people, they were not rocket scientists. From 1956, even if we had episodes of some floods in 1966, then in 1969, but they maintained that river channel because there was a unit of a bulldozer. There was a unit basically for the mom for that. And now, why can't we build these protection walls, reinforce them with capping walls, and actually widen the river channel on the other side, and do periodic desilting, and these floods will be controlled.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Kwatampara Alex. Kandi chiri GNTV program chiri Omushana Gwebyoubutegyeki tunstera tochi omujera gwa Nyamwamba oguresera obuzibu kandi omuri ekyo twasaba ngutwara abantu benshi omujera gwa Nyamwamba omuntu akataka gwikahoga wasajira mu muhango mnonga abwo bwire bw'ekyanda nigubagura umuce munonga konka gwaheza kutabuka ekibakweta ngwaheza kunyiga nigugenda bwijura gutwara ibintu nyamwingi kandi gukezana n'amabari kuruga omyanya etari emwe n'emwe wasa kuba ngutera ebintu by'abantu tucyo twajana ahashonge kwatagine n'omujera gwa ruva Nyamwamba hamwe na irwaro rya Kirembe Mines Hospital harimu oruvuyo rwingi munonga irwaro rero nibenda kurishiftinga kugerera ahabebembeza bamwe. Then other leaders say, no, we are not taking our hospital, we still need it because it provides, it is there for our people, which is total to a number of more than 500,000. So abantu tware kurenga 50 no benefit ijira mu Rwanda rero chonka abandi bagirango irwaro turyeho abweshonga yo girango government ningashi ministry y'amagara techitwereza mibazi techitwereza se twatugahirwaraho twasa kwantikaho hine abarura twagamba nabo, and they were like we come here with our money, we don't come here without money. I don't know how to is that. You have to first pay. Let me go to Bohaka Lucas. According to Enshonga Yirwaro Kirembe Mines Hospital, what do you talk about it?
Over Munonga, thank you so much. Messenger Kutsibu, GNTV. Erunyibrekera Munawire Rabuma, the youth councillor who were district I don't know whether it is comfortable that I use local language.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We are talking to locals.
And I had to admit Kundira Nyibrekera is my councillor, Omanawai. Child. He's repeating my children. So when he can call me and say, this thing I see, and today I've not even put off my my truck.
Yeah.
This truck suit I'm putting on is the truck suit I was putting with the Parliament of Uganda. And the Parliament of Uganda, headed by the chairperson, a Dr. Okol Kano, for today and yesterday, but on behalf of a committee health. So he was yesterday with them, today with them, and I've really concluded with them. And the reason was that a member of parliament for KASESE municipality had risen a motion to move. The motion is to move you to discuss an issue. That was Honorable Kambale Ferigo, to move Uganda AUC in this an issue of importance in the KASESE district, but specifically for Kilembe Mines Hospital and other issues. My brother, your name again? Innocent. I'm Waga Lucas Gwambale, the board and the stroke health management committee chairperson of Rukoki Health Center for the anticipated hospital next to Wera of KASESE district.
Yes.
And these appointments are not elective, they are selective. People should understand between electing somebody and selecting someone. So I'm an elected person, implying that I'm only representing the community by selection. I want to thank my two brothers, my elder brother, Matapora Alex, much as he has been so much technical, but he's also political in this district. And I want to thank him for being really much of being articulative in the technical aspect, and he has hidden the other side of being political. This person is a speaker
for 10 years.
You know it. I know that you know it. You're also trying to bias yourself. Anyway, so he has really elaborated much about the scientific part of this country and the world. The world must be scientific. Why? We must be actual. Science means actual. The only thing that is politics that can diverge us from everybody wants to say I, but in science there is no I. Operation means operation. You have to operate somebody and either survives or dies. That's why I like science, and that's why I think Museveni, the president of the Republic of Uganda, is very clear when he talks about science. He's not a scientist, but he said the science is better. I also agree with him. And he has given us a narrative that is scientific. Some of us may not take. Kilembe Mines Hospital, Rukoki Hospital, St. Mary's and whatever you want to call it. That's of KASESE, and I think this is the reason why I'm here, I think.
Yes.
I've been the head of late of the rest of KASESE for 12 years in the cathedral parish that houses the rest of KASESE. And I don't want to really think I talk this thing with a lot of visa. That's the truth. But I would think that service delivery does not include Gaule Mukatoleke, Gaule Mupera, Gaule Mustayo, Gaule Muduvende, Gaule Mu FDC, Gaule Mu NRM, Gaule what? I don't think that one can attract that one. Service delivery means and includes all of us. Today was getting assessment from Kilembe, I think, yeah. When you go to the laboratory, for example, That means they have taken blood from you. And they find that your brother has issues. Omusawo woti ekisibu bakanze ti bakongeramu wound. Is transfusion? Transfusion. Omusawo bakanze bakongeramu wound. Kandi okayahola. Must you ask that omusasyo oyo abiwa bwakaluka bwambale? Makinge was in the blood bank, no musas, and you have a problem with blood. And it's only the blood that is going to set you free. Must you say that blood? Lucas Wambara, and it must be for my wife, or my daughter, or my mukonzo. And yet, Patapora Alex has, for example, me, I can be open public for the first time about my previous life. I am O+. That's scientists can know. That's my blood group. I can give anybody. So if it is Alex to give me blood, and that's the blood I can give. So I don't mind about, don't blame me now. I don't want to say many things, but I can give any person in this world, according to the scientists. But I want to say that, assuming that this blood man that's there, and who have fought with him severally, including very many years, several but including many years. Ngatole nalendi omusasuwa katambore muleke mbao mumbero omusasuwa mwala wayo mavu mwala wayo the only bukasala for the district. Is it scientifically true? Mzee no yumukechishibama. That's the Lucas. I don't want to operate in that way. It came from our and probably we need to get what we want. So, what I have liked, and I want to thank the members of Parliament of KASESE district, inclusive the area member of Parliament, Honorable Campbell Furigo, the district member of Parliament, Honorable Florence, and then the rest of the members of Parliament. Much as I have not seen them interface. But the truth is, these members of Parliament, flow of Parliament, an issue, to me, I call it a small issue that was just being nursed. To nurse some things that you groom something to become a problem. Kilembe, hospital operations, Rukoki, and Manya Mount Mary's, Manyawera, what these are not to me, look at Sofaka, they are not issues. They are much non issues. They need only logic. People went to school. Those who went to school, it means logic. Why do we discuss issues that are obvious? The narrative of my brother, Alex, the narrative of one, Mama Indangin, or one, Patapora Kanyamara Tekerembi, Suka as Allen in 1953. 1953, on about 53 area or about 54. Actually, I'm going to check somewhere when I was writing my record. But we're not arguing. Yeah. This TV is not for arguments and it's not judgmental. I want to make a disclaimer. I cannot make a complaint that you should put on Lucas. Sure. I'm putting it on your behalf. I'm not, me, I go to social whatever debates for the benefit of making people understand. Yeah. So he made it 1983, I can make it 1984, but regardless of that, that means that 1950, yeah, claim mine started. That's all. I don't mind about the exact date, the exact week, who was there, who was the main celebrant. 1950 was the issue. It is 2023. 2023. Around over 100 years and above. Why should we discuss issues in a way being much illogical than being logical? I don't know whether people are understanding me. Why should we reiterate? What is the problem now that wasn't the problem the other time? The reason of the hospital was one, to let people access health services in the mining. Simple as that. You don't want to go to school to understand that one. And the people means and includes, or meant and included. I'm an English teacher, I cannot miss any word. Means and includes, but meant and included by that time. About cool, but also the surroundings. People could not miss the services of that hospital. So meant and included and means and includes. I want people to understand this in the current situation. That one, they are staffs, and this man cannot go to the queue with me, and I get services before Kotapora. They will first say, hey, they should give me broadcast. So it meant and included some person. Reason was Vanza Erivia Kutranganatunga alongside mining. Because mining was a project. That project attracts the attention of the public. Public means the community. Community actually in the level of the social studies. What is government? Government means and includes the people of the people, by the people, by the people. So let's just say what? So government is my mother in Kamruli. So I think that's what they meant. And Mr. Kwatapora, I thank you so much. You have explained that one. Now, I want to say one thing. Today I've been in the meeting of the Parliament of Uganda. Yesterday I was in the Parliament of Uganda, a session of the Health Committee. And in my communication as an official at Ruko Health Center 4, which has been the last communication in my level of understanding, I said we are not in competition with the Kelen Mines Hospital. That's my first statement, and it's on record.
And the government or the community?
We are the whole government of Uganda. I said we are not in competition as Ruko Health Center 4 and Kelen Mines Hospital. We are not in competition in nature, in any nature. Secondly, we are independent of our operations. Independent means we are an organ independent of Kelen and Mines Hospital. Our elevation from health center 2, 3, 4, and now 1 hospital has been in line with the government. And the government structures. We don't have to complain. We don't have to complain. Now, I have made as a chairperson, health board, I'm working on the legal framework of the land to house Kelen Mines, Rukoki Health Center, which government, including the president and whoever is under that, to say it should be a public hospital, general hospital, centrally put in a place that can accommodate every person, including the catchment area that doesn't only limit us from KASESE district. In northwest, we have Unyangabo district that is giving us patients and clients in that regard. In the southwest of the district of KASESE, we have Rubirizi district that is bringing us patients. The reason is Museveni has given the only public hospital, public entity that you can go and be operated, you finish everything, and then they say you bye, go home
without no medicine.
Even maybe if Lucas is there, like me, who is there, I can even give you about a border to take you back home.
Because you
and it is not, it is rare. Now, the PNFP, which has not talked about, we don't talk about certificate because for who understands he has meant in his science, but also if you mention that one, because I'm in that place. Profit not for private, not for profit. Private, not for profit. But government has, that's the word private. And for us, we are public-private partnership, which I trained with in 2001. In Uganda, there were only 86. And KASESE was inclusive, and I trained myself. I have a certificate in that one. The PPU. Private-public partnership. That's why they brought that. Private, not for profit. You can be with St. Paul, you can be with Kagando, you can be with anybody, you can be with whatever. But like in education, you can partner with people and give them human resource.
Yes.
That's why there was a partnership, which means and includes KASESE, district government on behalf of Ministry of Health, Claim Mines Limited, of these people, but it's not the one, but it can be part. It's not the one. Then KASESE Catholic Diocese, not an office.
A diocese.
A diocese is not an office, and the Code of Canon Law. A diocese is an entire area. It's not an office.
Yes.
So an office means a bishop. That's by either by the law and even the canon law. And also a bishop doesn't mean a person.
It's a title.
It's a title. So a person, if you mislead or you lead, that's your own issues.
But titles are worked for, they are not invented.
They are not. I want to make sure I explain this thing to the benefit of people understanding.
Yes.
Understanding me in the level of, so who is Lucas? Of one thing. As I conclude.
Yes.
I don't think there is any big issue to make us nurse a problem. Nurse a problem to the scientists here. To nurse a problem means that we groom. We groom in our own English, but nursing, I think he knows it in science. KASESE district, we are 1.1 million population. We need health services. KASESE Klebe Mines Hospital was established in 1954, coded in 1974, coded by the Ministry of Health. That one they finished again. We can talk about anything called why should the Ministry of Health deactivate without a minute of the people concerned.
Yes.
The answer to that one, the response, which is not a reaction. Some of you react. So me, I respond. I don't react. Is that can we now reactivate?
Reactivate it.
As simple as that, because it was reacted as early as 1974. Why do you deactivate it and there is no notice of deactivation? Simple as that. That's the thing. That's one. Two. Rukoki Health Center 4. The elevation at a general hospital status is not connected to being at Rukoki, Kilembe Health Center, hospital. It was for public interest that as a centered area which can serve both municipality as a constituency, that's KASESE municipality, Busongora North as a constituency, and part of Busongora South, because Bukonzo West has Wera Hospital as general hospital.
Yeah.
And our population quota is 1.2 million. The only next to Wakiso district is Uganda, the largest in Uganda. Next to Wakiso is the KASESE district. And everybody will give me here can bear me witness.
Yeah.
Say that we shouldn't have to run to pull ropes on small issues. There's no reason why Kelembe cannot be reactivated and the infrastructure remains the same. Because today was in a meeting where Kelembe mine is limited, including the board of governors. Honorable Lois Wambali was inclusive. Honorable Lois Wambali, elected by the President of the Republic of Uganda, they have given infrastructure that is there. It can continue there. It's a matter of reactivating the code of the supply of pharmaceuticals and the human resource and whatever. Then we create a hospital that is general for the benefit of referrals. I rest my case.
Okay. Contrary. As we go for a break, I want my geology C will answer this question. I remember Usata Council, which was called by Honorable Kabyanga, the current Minister for National Guidance, State Minister. He said in his own words, even if you quote me, that, let me speak it in Lukonso. Ababereba kapima eritakali Kelembe ahabo kanyusuba yehos. They saw that that land there cannot hold those structures that the government is planning to put there. In his own words, we are seated at a multi-purpose hall. In his own words. So those geologists, I don't know who were they, but in his own words, the advice they gave that you can relocate. He even gave us an example that if this money is fired, there is another ministry targeting it like this. If KASESE people refuse, they will say, okay, give us this money. Honorable Gwebyoubutegyeki, may I? She will answer after that.
No, before I go for the break, allow me to answer this because it is an issue. In my brief, I told you we carried out survey. Now, I don't know which land we're talking about because we carried out. Wait, do you know the sites we visited in Kelembe?
I am speaking what I
We visited 3 sites. One, first site was opposite Kelembe Secondary School, up there. That one in Chanjuka, before you go to Chambo, where there's like a farm. That was big enough, and we wanted even where Kelembe Junior School used to be, all the way down, to demolish that and put the hospital there. We looked at the historical records of that small stream that passes behind Chanjuki. And we studied the geology and realized that it used to flood. And we said, no, we cannot run away from floods and come back here. But the foundation ground was good. And the other side, unfortunately, there were already laboratories for the school, so we couldn't touch that. You know, when we are doing site investigation, we usually take 3 points. We came to Katiri. We actually found that we can have a hospital there. Today's technology, you don't have to build heavy buildings like they did in the past. You don't have to do that. As long as you have a firm foundation, the rest can be light buildings. We went to another site opposite Kelembe Hospital, below the Celtics. And we found that the ground was suitable. We found that there were a few water spurs on the upper side, especially below the foot of the hill, at the foot of the hill, but those are not a problem. You can build even in water. So, I think I'm not aware about that report and which site you are referring to, because you are not specific, but we visited 3 sites, and I was part of the team.
I am talking from a reported speech of you. We are in caucus at the multipurpose hall.
I would prefer to see, for you to be specific.
Yeah.
I've given you 3 sites.
3 sites.
But you don't know which site you're talking about.
Okay. 18 minutes past 11 p.m. You're still on TNTV. Program Omushana Gwebyoubutegyeki. Let's go for a commercial break. We shall be back in a short while.
This is GNTV, releasing life.
Conductor Masao.
Owa, obadde olobye ku ssimu?
Ya munange, anti yo TV enkolera.
Kwotadde ne zifirimu leero ewatali kozesa data. Yo TV channels.
This is GNTV, releasing life.
tukaba twakira umuceka cito cya kabiri cya program Omushana Gwebyoubutegyeki tori KASESE izo byo twakorera twajya katugendeho mu rumbo rwa KASESE tubanza twari benshonga nayo izilokwe tuzibasiho iwe mu Uganda aho riyo norebera abakomentinga ha YouTube channel yetu mwe bare messages twazireba kandi jangu cyamani munonga mwe bari followinga GNTV Uganda and broadcasting live Zebra Hotel muri KASESE Arbuto Marine Street noika akanisa yitu ya King of Kings aho ho ekitebe kikuru cha Good News Television kiri kushangwa omurembo rwetu Rwambara muri KASESE tuguremu office aha omukirembe quarters aha kizimbe cha Kumbuka Investments aho mutwibire office zetu za GNTV wabano twenda muhora beno kushanga hano ya municipality ya KASESE atutugenda wiki trazemu twagireta hano yo muri KASESE akwenda turebe eshongezi yo muri KASESE biziha abebebezi bagamba ki ekiri kushasha abantu nikiha kandi program zona tuzikora ku KASESE live aha mbeho zito za GNTV wasa kutukurekera aha channel yetu Star Times namba 229 Go TV 888 free to air yo TV app hamwe na GNTV Uganda YouTube channel yetu short haja na hanshonga kwatagine na irwabro ya Chirembe Mines Hospital tsarigamba kache then tugarike ndachika izikushebayo au tsabwa haja na ebintu byo KASESE ibukugendo misho chamana mu KASESE bichiha kirikora makuru mu KASESE bichiha kandi na nabantu ekibakura bitaga abebembezi babakorere hano ya omuri KASESE ekiri kine Innocent Armitwe we atuna kutwara on program wetu kile KASESE banyitizi na Kambere ya the Innocent Armitwe Kambere so amemushaku abatu kile KASESE mwasinjai imprega baba yeah, but I know how to put it in Konjo now. So we are still discussing about Clean the Mind saga. Ejeshonga yamani kandi nashanga abantu bakasese real abantu bakuri n'imitwaro 50 okubiya hirwa rohihi obuhereza no wabucumbagiza kandi tugirango kurya government yo mu ubwebezo bwa hati lekirango esehihi obuhereza ahabantu so njokiza tukwe muzaho uko kumukubareba mu studio zetu bari bahajana ahabwaci ihoro benda barfurre abwaci batakwida barfurre akakigo ka parliament kuna nkando kunagamba akakwatagana ahagema byemagara akakirango tikirundi okwihirwa ruhihi n'abantu bakateka hari n'abantu mwene cyo bacha umbigambe bagamba bagirango government leadership ministry of health ekarizinga sente z'ika billion zibiri okumbeka yerware atahabwaci government niye etakwenda kuteka mu bibazo etakwenda ngo abantu baragurwa bwabasha etakwenda ngo abantu bacungura so ibintu byose byabiye ahantu y'abantu abto asakota haja na nabo abto ashanga hirwaro ya Chirembe Mines Hospital obabariyo bayobara kumiti bari kuvuganaho akaciko ka parliament akibya magana so back to the studios on about KASESE Chirembe Mines Hospital saga iwe nka senior geologist okumanya iby'ubuhangwa mukirangu bakwata ebirwaro bakariha omwanya bakaritwara omwanya je sites eshatu z'umuhariri abantu kiza kubamvira kutunga kuhereza ninga tubi so hard for them
wabara normal Innocent echeke bitakoze musabe harecheka kimwe opposite n'irwaro tukashana mu kibasa kombeho kandi tutinesho ebibiro technology ebibiro toine kuombeke bizimeke byakare ngoyombeke na kenje bibona bikuremera kachi
ebroga bikuremera
as long as foundation yawe yoke foundation noho kwali yamiza hasi halechi tukweta grouting
yes
drilling netusindika cement members net filling gaps zones kuleta means nourishes making the ground weak package cement na shora tujirewa then ntumbeka ebintu kyakukora mu dams empango za Bujagali Karuma Isimba nimbigamba boko bikozero omunsi yono mpa bikozero Congo South Africa Lesotho Kai whole so foundation ya Chinebe teaches technology to net today they can't turn on.
Yes.
Chakandi nale babantu bahaja na ahirwaro ya Chinebe bali activating the ugeyo it auto ajire kushabirirwa na Charles speaker auto arabize muntu jamu tshaba health center for ya koki ebe improved but where is the upgrade the real world strategies majority at the expense of Kilenda Mines no Kilenda Mines hospital kero bitu kushabiri world so nyoya tinkule wangu siamo nonga nicho omamiruka sinayaga tuleke kuma scheme kwa
yes
hauka tukalisha bakali it is not today cha kandi tumayango ku government cooperating and operating akota abobona batero mu government tukajira maternity ward home health center for our yes chitiro kuira kuja mu bajombe how long has it taken
Desha is
to repair that maternity ward just maternity ward I'm a Rotarian. I'm actually immediate past president wa Rotary. Tulion to already to connecting with the friends and well wishers. Kutande kukorachi.
Abarotary kuombeka.
Kutereze to maternity ward. But this is a government facility. So chairman, you are here. How long has it taken? Now, Barajangota Kalebro, Toka Barajangota Kalebro, Toka the old one. Is that Russia?
Oh, no.
So, for me, my argument stick to that. The more facilities we have, the better. We are having challenges. You are hearing that we are having high cancer cases of people in KASESE. We don't know why, but they came and did the cancer screen. So that means our people really need urgent health care, whether in the valley, whether in the mountains. And the good thing, Clement Mines Hospital, even if where it is, wherever it is situated there right now, if out abantu bakabihaga abantu umusozi nobareba omukazi naza kuzaara nibiruka straight to the hospital abukatalo ambulance facilities ngambira omuntu yabunga yabuganya kazinga aliyo nayiruka n'omuntu kumuleta omwirwaro oliyo nomugambira iwali yakirero rugeho ngo bamulete kuki Is it feasible?
Not really.
Is it tenable? So, the Kalibayo, but you're Jeremy Buzz, in fact, what you're making, so that to generate a bigger facility where Care Hospital, Rokoki Hospital, Kasangale Hospital, I mean, we can have as many hospitals. Kujirama means is not a disease. So, Nyoni Njrango, Nature Charles reviews lack of consultation. Obtails abantu. If you're not to call a hatia to you to call a postmortem. Obtails abantu. His siblings are still here.
Yes.
Tunaba tubinja bali Canada.
Bazabirwa.
Tunaba bali UK.
Bazabirwa.
Hatu wale bano kutuyitita abana bakulire abazali tukakulira ukaleba complete school gali ababana bashasha. Aho katuyine I mean abantu bitu beyunjira even more abatakwebasa. So I think the Mines Hospital should be reactivated and reconstructed. Ekichweka kimwe kirwaru ekyatuniranyama twayombeka good retention walls and gabion supportive walls. I'm telling you, part of those buildings will stay on, like the maternity ward, the new one, the administration block, and some outpatient community. And we rechannel the water on the other side and maintain it to that side. To take out your bulldozer, Chigumeo, for a year, Chigumeo, there will never be another flood in the
even the water can pass here when you are seated here.
So, how will you really do that? So,
okay. Yewe munonga omukuru kwa Tampora Alex kandi kweyagira ngo warebera honwe mwana watakarebera takaba mwana kwe yagamba honari river I mean Kilembe Mines Hospital saga iwe nkomwenyuzi what should be done?
Robert Munonga, moderator, to me I would suggest we should first know the population that Kilembe Mines has. I am in support of my brother Honorable Kwatampora. Erirwa reri nirahabaringa abantu bambunga Kilembe, Nyakabingo, and some parts of Mahango, even us from town, Tujenda Kilembe, Rukoki. It is a very big community. If at all we put on a litmus paper, akakeke yakane numkitamuti the patients abura fune Kilembe tora fune kai Rukoki. But we all need the services. So let all the facilities be there. Now, since Rukoki is already there, let also Kilembe be there. Now, the other game should be left now for these technologists. Already Rukoki is there. Now, for example, St. Mary's Hospital is there. Nobody will chase it out. Already it is there. So I don't see why to push and pull. Let also Kilembe Hospital be watching.
Yes.
For as long as the government but the population that is there, Me, I remember when I was born, my mother was brought on a stretcher. So I can imagine if she had not got out of Buhunga up to Kilembe, now up to Turukoti. The midwives, the doctors, the health workers are not complaining. They are ready to work. Put facilities there. They will do what? Work. So, I will go to my brother's side, Kotamporo. It will take your facilities. We need jobs. We need it. Leave alone looking for jobs, but they want to serve the people. So, what I would request, and I will repeat it, Brother Kotapora, Honorable Kabyanga said, there are no soils that can stand. Those facilities, I'm telling you, that was a minute in caucus. I have to tell it to you. So try to look into that. So Harmonize said, for as long as you want to put that facility there, he actually said that the money is going to Nabaja's territory. Nabaja Prime Minister. I am not lying to myself, just ask any district council.
We shall make a follow-up on that.
Not even a follow-up. Just know his pocket. But to me, my request was, the population that is here is much more than the facilities they receive than here down. Here they have very many facilities of government. Here it is only, here they have Rukoki.
Moderator of the permission.
Yes.
Honorable Mavina. Now, my colleagues of you, already right now, the area has been affected by floods. It was built on what we call a backfill. Ahamis Kakari Garabo, Chirembe Ndamabala Garbomo Ndani, Nomushe, Yamtao, Yanumbeka, Iwaro. So, I mean, during Bagambira, this is because a foundation is not a problem. Now, Hanoya, where we are talking about, the foundation is natural.
It's natural. Not
and we can only treat it and get a perfect foundation. Even storage buildings, we can have them there with no problem, because this current hospital is seated on a backfield. Yes.
Okay. So,
so I was trying to conclude that let the government, through the advice of these geologists, to put a facility in Kilembe. If it plans to also put a facility in Rukoki, but let us first consult how many people do we have Chiremba. There are very many. No Barambunga.
The estimation is 500,000.
Catchment,
that catchment.
So, another district.
Yes. So you cannot configure that number to say that I know how much labor pains the mothers go through, the pains that women go through. So if you don't have any catchment here, we are gone. Remember, Mbunga doesn't have any health center. Nyaka Bingu Teine, Kilembe Sub-County, I think it has a health center too. Now, you can, and actually, let me politicize it. When we went to a by-election, Honorable Ferigo is the one who stood Ukoguruba Mujungu as the chairperson of that committee. The main agenda was that Kilembe Hospital is doing what? It's coming back here. simukanyona simunabisa. But then Honorable Muchungu is quiet on that issue. It is Fergus somehow trying to maneuver around. He's trying a lot. But then, politically, let me put it politically, it beats us as NRM people. Politically, our main agenda was a host Ikaya Sobahai. Now it is being diversionary. So to me, my request was, let this hospital be here, and Lukoki also becomes a hospital. You can have even 10 hospitals in one district. Like Honorable Watapara said, the day we lost the paternity ward, what is it? Simple money. Yes. Within a minute, it can be. So to me, a request, here should be a hospital, and there.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Wambare Crispus Mavunya, Kakjede or Lucas Wambare. What should be done to maintain this hospital?
Yes, so Wambare, you had been Buhaka. This is my popular name.
Yes.
You know, for me, I don't want to waste time on non-issues. Because English, I was an English teacher for very many years, since 1991. And I've taught very many people, some of them are going to become priests. Deactivation means activation. It's as simple as that. You don't have to discuss a lot of English. You deactivate to activate, or you activate to deactivate. It's just like you agree to disagree.
Deforestation and afforestation.
Now even my young person can do it. I don't want, why should the government of Uganda, the whole government of Uganda, with the 3% bodies that govern this government, executive, parliament, and judiciary, and we discuss a non-issue according to me. First of all, the history of this issue here, called the claim mines, has a tripartite agreement. Tripartite, I told people in Kilembe today that tripartite, if they don't want to understand it, is the word triple, a 3-in-1. Even Jesus, for us the Catholics and other Christians, say Trinity. We are Trinity because we say in the name of the Father, of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. This is a covenant that's between the three people. And every person has his right. There's someone called the Son, there's someone called the Father, and the one called the Holy Spirit. Implying that each one of those people has a role. But a role cannot be a role without destination. That's what sometimes God said, Adam and Eva, you have a problem even when they only created them. That means the role was broken. When we go to issues, you bring cabinet, you bring parliament, you bring Museveni, where there was an MOU. Tripartite is an English word, but what is the adjective? The adjective is MOU, a charter. In a simple English, somebody who never went to school, a charter means a constitution. There was something binding these people. Claim Mines was a bond, a police bond to my mother in Cameroon, a police bond, a relationship between you because you are committing crime. Uganda government through Ministry of Health, I understand, through KASESE government and the Central Police of 1998, because the government of Uganda is not running from top bottom, it is now bottom top. And I was somewhere in a meeting and I find people thinking that Uganda is still operating from top bottom. That is not it is not Lucas work. I can't take that one. I've gone to school. Uganda from 1988 is planning bottom top, not top bottom. Nowhere. That's why any one chairman can speak before the president. And he's not speaking because he's never to school, but that's the law.
That's the law.
That's the law. So I was thinking of a small thing. being nursed into a big problem that can become a national. In parliament, they call them issues of national importance. In districts, this man has been a speaker for a municipality, which a district in the other way. They make what a state of affairs of a municipality. State of affairs. That's issues of the people. How do we make this thing to become a national issue of importance, even when it has a guideline, a tripartite agreement, MOU, memorandum of understanding, which must, you like it or not, must and include a clause of dissolution. Dissolution means and includes when we end, where do we go?
Yeah.
I hear because the Catholic went out, they do have a problem. Why do you have a problem when the Solicitor General government was there? What did he advise? Attorney General Chambers of Uganda. What did he advise? To go in a partnership of government entity. Kirebe Mines Limited is 99.604% government.
96.
That's it. 0.4 is a person called Bokara Kawasagama. I don't mind about the person, but that's the other pattern. Implying that government of Uganda is 100% here. Because when you go, you round off the nearest decimal point to these people, it means that Keremba is 100% the government. Because 0.4 is nothing. It's nothing. I can't even pay it as Lucas alone. I can't even bring other Ugandans. I can pay it. I can pay it. Yes. So implying that, why do we fight within government? That's very unfortunate. I have my way of doing my things. I'm going to tell my young brother, my older brother, my younger brother, my elder brother, in our own ways, that my way of work bases on 5 C's.
5 C's.
5 C's. And I have seen it in one of the fields we did today, because I was among the field people in the Parliament of Uganda, listening yesterday to date. I told them the first C is communication. The moment there is a disconnection between communication, whether at home level, whether at government, whether at whatever, then you have a problem. What do you communicate? And that is standard. Because today, when I was the diocese of KASESE, the bishop had a very narrative. A narrative that was trying to convince people. But why you get convinced today? Even the thing had taken almost over how many years. It means there was a gap in communication. The second C is coordination. When you communicate, you must coordinate. It must be. We are here, we are not at hope, we are not villagers.
The way is calling you.
They call me a villager, I don't care. I'm an updated man. The third C is cooperation. Yeah. When we coordinate, we have to cooperate. Cooperation means that we can come and sit together. Because now Uganda is seeing us as people who don't have a sense of direction. Because we are struggling over that issue. Kirebe Mines Hospital has already a code, which was given in 1974. The hospital was made in 1953, 1954. You get me? Now, that's already a born child. You get it? We are trying to get another child called Rukoki Health Center for to hospital. General. Public, and public means free. 100% free is not a PNFP. Private, not for profit. You can't actually, that's one. Even somebody from Kapalo will come. The third, I've given you the third one. The third one is cooperation. We have to cooperate and understand that, okay, if there is this problem, let's handle it at this level. Let's go to Uganda. Everybody should know that we have a problem. KASESE can have a problem which is not to continue. But we have not brought every member of parliament here to understand our issues. Is there any necessity to bring any member of parliament outside us?
Outside KASESE.
If they consider the work Lucas, I would be able to even solve this problem within a minute. Now the fourth one is consultation. You involve people if you don't have to have a problem. Involve people.
Yeah.
And today in the meeting at Clembe site, Clembe site, where my brother was not there, the CEO was there, is that there's lack of involvement in the transition period. One, transition A is when the flood escape. That's we call it a calamity. A natural disaster.
Natural disaster.
It is not yours. It is God commanded. Getting either the people, the theologists can say it is Satan, what, but it's God commanded. So when do we respond to it? We don't react to it. That calamity, when it befell us, how do we involve every stakeholder to make sure that we are making an exodus? Exodus omarukonzo ejwayo tukayewe Kirende tukayeenda Kotambora twamaenda with 2 pennies. When we come back, we shall come with 2 pennies or 1 penny. Now, the last one is common sense.
That is not common.
Common sense means and includes that if you don't understand the 4, then you apply common sense. Common sense is just very simple.
Yeah.
What happened?
But it's not common.
Exactly. I'm happy with my brother. It's because some of us have it, including myself. Why do you think this is a big issue? To create a president to think about when the thing is very customized. It's customized. This small thing, we can understand it. For example, conclusively, I made my prayer today. Because I am like that, I was the last person to speak in the Parliament of Uganda today for Koki. I said, we have no any conflict because I'm the peace actor in the district of KASESE as a chairperson related to operations. There's a lot of independence for Kilembe Mines Hospital, a lot of independence for Rukoki. But our transition as Rukoki, right away from even the current minister of ICT, but he was one time a minister of state for health. That's Dr. Rumus. Had elevated that hospital, given the statistics that is given. They have given them to Parliament. So I was saying that this one is in transition of being a hospital, as my elder brother Kautapura has said. And he's not very annoyed with that. But this is a deactivation. To deactivate means something has been replaced. Yeah. Why don't you reactivate the service? Then you go ahead with the elevation of a hospital which is public in nature.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Buhaka. Your last words, Mr. Kwatampa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Innocent. As I earlier said, Kilembe Mines Hospital needs to be reactivated. Kilembe Mines Hospital needs to be reconstructed. Kilembe Mines Hospital has to be maintained at all times. And the floods at Kilembe must be controlled. Periodically, the river should be silted, and the protection walls must be put in place to avoid further catastrophes, not only to the hospital, but to other infrastructure, and also the big tailing dams we have that have lots of cobalt in them that contaminate the river, the lakes, and the fish, fauna and flora, all.
Thank you.
Another thing is, lastly, is that we should know, as Honorable Buhaka said, and my brother here, that the health center for upgrade has no effect whatsoever on Kilembe Hospital, because Kilembe Hospital Kashanjirwe. So it's there, and it has been our pride before even all these better hospitals came and others. And the health center for Nkoki that is going to be upgraded to hospital has an umbilical cord with the Kilembe Mines Hospital. How? The staff are the same. They are paid by government of Uganda. So if you deactivate, now that Kilembe Mines Hospital is deactivated, who is paying the staff?
No one.
No, government is still paying them.
Government is still paying.
So don't you think that the next step we are going to see is actually removing that staff from Kilembe?
Yeah, also deactivating the staff.
So are we waiting to see this happen? So let us maintain the two facilities, build them, and what government promises should always be done. We've seen the maternity ward up to now, and others. So I feel that primary hospital must be in place. Health center for Koki must be upgraded, and we shall be happy, all of us, to have better facilities.
Thank you so much. Your last word, Samuel.
Thank you so much, Mr. Innocent. My last words are that let different parastatals consult the indigenous people from Kilembe. Secondly, let that hospital be there. It has been there when Ibwera has been operating, when Rukoke has been operating, with similar facilities. So when you discontinue it, think about the health workers, the survivors of those who are benefiting from them. Those ones have been there. Where are they going to go? We are complaining about unemployment. Already they have been employed. Now you are discontinuing a certain program. So let us maneuver around and we see a Kilembe should be there. We are not stopping any other facility. Rokoko should be there. Where should be there. But then other people misquote us to say that for us we are discontinuing Kilembe. We want to Rokoko. No, let all those facilities be there. The best module to do, consult the various people like this Julu, this one. They give you modules. It's okay. This table should, even if it rains here, we can shift to there, and we sit and we finish our discussion. So consultation is also key on different stakeholders from Kilembe.
Thank you so much. Your last words, Mr. Bohaka.
Yes, thank you so much, GNTV. One is that the populace of this district, the population, that's what I'm talking about. When I know about KASESE, no, 1.2 million population. And the Uganda government, I like it. It does a budget on population quota system.
Yeah.
You cannot do anything in Uganda. So KASESE district is start next to Wakiso, the largest district in Uganda.
Yeah.
So we are not bad when we say we can have facilities. Health in a way of defending the system of the country, which means that includes the populace way of budgeting for this country. Okay. So I want to say that the health center, as my brother has said, the continuity, because this is what we're not supposed to discuss it has been there.
Yeah.
Even today we are there with the Parliament of Uganda. We have seen the infrastructure that has been provided by them, Kilembe Mines Limited. It can even continue operating that hospital even for more than years. As long as you only release the medical, the pharmaceutical, you release the human resource, and the other facilities, even they have their friends that can go on. Then we go and improve on the health sector. Because this is a PNFP, because of that component of having a partner. A PNFP means that somebody can pay a small coin to help the facilitator to move on. But Rukoki is purely public and government, I would say, health facility. You just come and get operation. You go home and you say bye. They even, if you can get a person like me with the head of the team, if I have money, I can even give Boda to go home. That's not simple. That's where our catchment area geographically means that includes even other districts, not KASESE. Because somebody from Rubit can say, I want to go to the hospital, they can give me free medicine, and that's the seventh thing. So let's agree that Kilembe is not something we're advocating for because they have been there.
Okay.
Then Rukoki should be upgraded to a health facility that can really cover the central district of KASESE in terms of health services. I beg to move.
Thank you so much. Yagure GNTV ni kusema kuya twatandika ashahina okusia agaciko mukaga izaringa omushayitu ya mukaga izoto atuka sese kandi atuntwajana enshonga erikwata aha district ya KASESE na mnonga abantu abakuraguza mu mirwaro ya Kirendo Mines Hospital abantu benda kurihindura okuri ha wahirire okurteka handi ekintu ekibaze munga hanchikafuhe turikirize ekintu cyo kubaho kuyo mitwe nk'abantu nk'abatura tuza kurebeka mutwarwa no kubasa kuba bitucungura irwano bitu mboze kineza kubiza mu makuru gitu gataragwe na gamwe agakosia na GNTV 12 kandi tukira hamwe yo KASESE okuchachumwe izoba yorwa mkaga no mu studios nanyine mu omwami kwa Tampora Alex Binego ogwe ya geologist ngashi akakubuka umbyo yitaka amwe na okucentura okumanya obugiga bwitaka nanyine mu honorable Wambare Crispus Mavunya ogwe district councillor agwa KASESE district nanyine mu omwami Bohaka Lucas Bwambare ogwe ni analyst wa hano ya KASESE ndi innocent armitwe murale kurunji tureba no rakshaka rubiza mukama barinde.
This is GNTV, releasing life.